Oh, finally, friggin' YouTube. What up? We are live, baby. We are live. What if, honestly, a choppy day. Choppy, choppy, choppy. No big moves really, other than off open. I'm gonna be going over how I find massive areas of the old support and resistance. Let me just do one thing here real quick, if I can find it. Right. All right, welcome guys. Super appreciate anybody that's logging on. Feel free to communicate through the chat with me. Super appreciate everything. And of course, if you guys are interested in any prop firms, of course, we have the Savvy. Savvy has the discount code for Take Profit Trader. That's Savvy, SAVVY 1 for that, and then Apex is just it's just Savvy. And you always have to do all capital letters. So Apex is discount code Savvy. Take Profit Trader is Savvy 1. Anyways, what are we doing today? Let's get rid of. I just have this line. Or no, that's. These are all. So all of the purple lines are Brad's Savvy levels, and all of the yellow lines are support and resistance. And so let's just look intraday. Maybe we'll do it backwards today. Maybe we'll start intraday and then work our way out. All right. Do it a little backwards today. I'm only going to do one side. I'm not, honestly, I look at ES, but I don't look at ES. I don't let ES affect my judgment too much. It moves. Some days it's super, super clean on the way it moves, but today is not one of those days. Look at what we did today. We opened right here, we dumped. We came back up to opening print, and then now we rock, like we came up, and then we're just doing, like, we really haven't. This is, let's see how big of a range we're in from today. A 25 point range on ES. Like, it's decent, but I guess it's maybe average, but it's just the way look at all the wicks. Like, I only trade on the 15-minute time frame. The wicks, all of these little, like, there's no bodies on these candles. It's very ugly. It's very ugly. So I try, we were in the Discord anticipating, like we were all looking for shorts. Uh, I shouldn't say all of us. There was a few of us looking for shorts, but we wanted to come up and tap this resistance first. But we've seen it quite a few times where it just never happens. It just, sometimes they'll just leave it for whatever reason, right? And it's just today's one of those days. It's kind of a tricky day today, to be honest. Um, but anyways, so let's get rid of. Yes, let's just move that over to my picture. All right. So, what am I looking at today? What was I looking at today? Well, I've been obviously, let's get rid of that. I've been looking at this wedge that we're back into. Sorry, let's get rid of that. That means nothing. We broke out. I took a long here yesterday. That was nice. And then after hours, well, actually, right at the end of the day, we sold right back off, almost to opening print. Opening print is right here. But look at where we stopped. Do you guys like? I don't know. I don't believe in coincidences, and this is why I always leave these trend lines on. A lot of people be like, "Oh, we broke it. It's invalid now." But look at, we broke, retest, continued higher. We topped out at Savvy's level. Or sorry, that wasn't. I don't think that was. No, that wasn't there yesterday. That was a new level from today. But either way, we sold off yesterday right back to that downtrend, right? And then after hours, we, you know, bounced, broke under it, and then look at where we came back up to. We sold off to a level. This was here. This is a massive level. We hit it at 130 last night, and then we pumped. Look at like 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 hour. And within 1 hour, we went this whole move up. And where did we stop? The downtrend. Rejection. Hit the downtrend. Rejection. Hit the downtrend. Market open, came up, hit the downtrend, and then sold off. I leave these trend lines on for quite some time until we like start like just chopping around it, and it's not it like well once we start putting in higher highs or higher lows and it's just obvious that we're not coming back to it, then that's when I'll delete it, right? It's but as long as it's like in play, I keep it there because there's all kinds of different types of support and resistance, and these trend lines are massive areas of support and resistance. I don't really care what anybody says. It's undeniable, and you can see it within the last 24 hours how well it's played out. So what was I looking at today? I always wait for typically the first 15-minute fair value gap, aka well, it is a fair value gap, but it's just a range, right? So this is a massive range here. So from here to here is your range, right? We know that. More importantly, where is the discount of the range? So if we mark it out, this is 50%, so halfway, right? This is the middle of the range. This is 60% of the range. We call this the golden pocket, right? The OTE, optimal trade entry. So what do I see? I see a big sell-off. We hit stacked levels and massive support. I had this even yesterday, I think I had this 25,608 on. Maybe not because I did update it early this morning. I can't remember. Either way, there's support here. We come down, hit stacked levels, support. As soon as we started coming up into OTE and the first 15-minute fair value gap, and there's old resistance, or sorry, old support, we broke through it. This will hold up as new resistance, especially the first time we get to it. So I started averaging in right on the first touch of this gap right here, right at this. I'll zoom right in. I started averaging in on this candle right here. All right. I As soon as we touched this gap, I basically was in, just very small size. We I was in drawdown for this entire candle. So for 15 minutes, I was in drawdown. Honestly, I wanted us to dig in a little deeper. I wanted us to get up here so I could take another, so I could average into my position size, but we never got it. We were holding the 60%, and you guys can obviously see why we put these fibs on. Like we hit the discount of the range perfectly. And then we sold off, and I was up 40 points at one point. But then I should have taken it right here at the level. But I was really hoping that we were going to dig down and hit this support that I had of 25,608, and it as soon as it came down here and it hit Savvy's level, it bounced up, and it unfortunate I didn't take the profits, and it basically stopped me out at break even. I ended up getting, I think, like $15 on it, which, I mean, at least I didn't take a loss on it. So I was out of that. I was out of that. So this red candle, I was in the trade for about 7 or 8 minutes. And then once I came on this candle, we really didn't even, you know, sweep the bottom or the top of the body of the previous candle right here. We didn't even get up that high. It's showing weakness. We're still holding OTE. Once we came back below this savvy level, and there's this yellow line is my support and resistance. So once we were below both of those, I got back into it. I went into it with 2 micros. I had a little bit more. I know it's still very small size, but I'll tell you why I went in with so small of size. The reason why, like, if it was just a normal size gap, I usually go in, like, I'll start with like 5 micros, right? So for every point, you're making $10. But look at the size of this gap. This gap is absolutely enormous, right? So from there to there, it's 100 points, right? So even with 1 micro, that's $200. And realistically, my stop out on this, like a typical first fair value gap trade, is you want to allow the trade to at least sweep the top of the candle, because sometimes even if we close outside of the gap, sometimes it'll just sweep the top of the candle, and then it'll go in your favor, right? So you have to position size accordingly to your stop loss. And in this case, if I'm entering right at the bottom of the gap and my stop loss is the top of the gap, that's 100 points in this case, right? So for every micro is $200 worth of risk. So I always keep that burning in my mind. And this line right here, because this is the intraday support and resistance. So this would have been basically the safety net, but I was anticipating us to at least hit it perfectly, or maybe even get a little bit of an overshoot. That would have been my next entry, but I never got it. So either way, that's why I'm going such small size on a trade like this, right? These just, if the bigger the gap, the smaller the position size, and that's just the way it is. If it's less than 50 points, then I'll go in with 5 micros, right? Because my intraday max loss is $500. Okay, so 5 points. Sorry, 5 micros at 50 points is $500. So it's all, you just, you know, position size is super crucial, super crucial. Anyways, so this is basically what I was looking at, and it happened. It worked out. All I was doing is playing once we rebalanced into the fair value gap, hit OTE, I was looking for at least back down to this 25,608, and we did get it. So on the second, so I did re-enter. I got out right at, well, we actually came down. I was in on this candle right here, this little green candle. We did get below this savvy level. Once we were below it, we were like right around here. I set my stop right at Brad's level. So I just, because we already bounced once over here, and I'm like, you know what? It fooled me once here. I'm not gonna let it fool me twice. So I just put my stop right here, and so we did come down, and then it stopped me out, and then we finally almost got that support perfectly. But you guys see how much support there is here? Like we between this savvy level, and my target, there is 3 lines of support here. So this zone, you could call it, is just a massive buying area. It's just, this is where buyers are stepping in. So I'm not looking for a continuation per se. If I was to play more, like if I was looking to short, I would want to see a massive red candle and close down here, and then I would wait for a retest of these, because once this all of this support is broken, then what happens? It switches to resistance, right? So the stronger the support, once we break it, then it'll be the stronger the resistance. All right, that's the way it works. So that was today. That was intraday. So, so where did all of these support lines come from? Well, this one is obvious right here. We come up, we come down, we hit this area. Like you see how obvious it is, like this massive just shadow, like it's like the market is like pointing to this area. So whenever I see something like that and then we break through it, this support will hold up as resistance once we come back to it. So there's a target, right? That's an intraday target on the 15-minute time frame. So I'm just going to get rid of that for now because we're going to go to larger time frames. That's where all these other ones come from. Let's go up to the hourly. So on the hourly, what do we have? And we spoke about this. Oh, let's get rid of that too. We spoke about this pre-market as the market was opening. We seen this fair value gap right here. Here, let me get rid of this because it'll make more sense if I do. We seen this, like fair value gap is an ICT term, which I mean it does make sense, but we just have ranges, right? But either way, a fair value gap is a three candle formation. You have this candle, and then this candle down here, and then the gap in between the two candles. So the gap between this candle and this candle, that's your fair value gap. So whenever I see a nice massive candle like this, that's showing me that's a range. This is kind of like the train everybody jumped on to go south, right? So now everybody is at the south end of the range. Whoever missed the train, they're gonna wanna they're having FOMO, right? They missed out on the sell, and then whoever did hop on the train, they're in a lot of profit. So whenever we come back up into discount, like half their profit will be gone. So they're gonna panic and get rid of it, right? And then whoever missed out, they're gonna be buying it. So this is the discount. This is the discount of the range. So I hope that kind of makes sense, that analogy. But I'm always looking for the train. This is the southbound train that everybody hopped onto. And I'm always looking for the train to hop onto as well. So this is on the 1 hour time frame. And then if you look to the left of this massive red candle, you'll see previous support. We came down, and then we got bought up. We got bought up. And then this massive train ran right through the support. So what happens to old support? It's gonna hold up as new resistance. And what happened? Exactly that. If you were trading overnight, look at, we came up to this area, sell off. Came back up to this area, sell off. There was no body close above this line. That's kind of when it invalidates like this, right? This support, this is old support. This is the kind of this is the candle that invalidates it, right? So if you're trying to play the bounce off support, when you get a candle that closes all the way down here, this isn't support anymore. Now it's resistance. So I hope that makes sense to everybody. It switches back and forth once it's broken. So, and the same thing, like it might hold up. It's more unlikely because you always want to catch it the first time. Like if you're playing this old support, new resistance, this was the trade. When we came up to it the first time, that's the highest probability. Like 9 times out of 10, the support or resistance is going to hold up the first time. Anytime after that, it's like the knock knock rule that Brad hit. That's Brad's analogy. The more times you knock on it, eventually it's going to break, right? So, and it's true. It is very true. The very first time you hit the support or resistance, come back to it. Like once it's established that this is support and then we break the support, the first time we come back to it as resistance, that's your highest probability of it holding up and getting a very nice reaction off of it. All right. So that is where I actually posted this in my channel this morning at like 7 o'clock, or yeah, around there. First thing this morning, I posted this target. So that's what I call these. I call these targets whenever there's a massive train candle, I'll call it. Just a massive, like, invalidating old support or resistance, then I'll mark out the old support or resistance, in this case support. I'll mark it out for the next time we come back to it, right? That's where, and price always likes to come back to them. We see it like daily, multiple times a day sometimes. Price loves to come back to these massive candles with support or resistance inside, in this case support, right now as resistance. So I hope I'm saying that in a very super clear way where everybody understands. It's just super basic type of support and resistance. It's all about finding where price has struggled in the past. Um, Anytime, wherever you see price struggling, and then it breaks, like in real time, even if you're on the 1 minute time frame, if you see price just fluttering somewhere, like it's struggling to continue, and then it shoots up right where it was fluttering, and you get a massive like 30-40 points, and then it's holding up there. The next time it comes back down to that area where it was fluttering because it had a hard time continuing, that was old resistance, and now it's going to hold up as support. So it's always just finding areas where the market is struggling. Like in real time, right now, the market it wants downside. It really does. It really wants downside, but it's struggling. It's struggling to continue lower. So once we do actually continue lower, what do we have? We have 24 minutes left in this candle. If this candle ends up coming all the way down to this uptrend, which would be a fantastic buy area, by the way, if anybody's interested. If we actually do break down, this is the way I would play this right now, because we are selling off pretty decently. If we break this, right, on the 1 hour, let's say we come down to like here, and then we come up to retest these stacked levels and old support, that would be a fantastic short area. But if you miss that, this will be because we haven't really come down to this area in a while. This will be a fantastic buy area, because we have Brad's savvy level, we have support, and we have an uptrend. So there's a lot of things saying bounce. Like, you know, I'm not saying it's going to be a life-changing bounce, but you're going to have a reaction. You know what I mean? That's all we're looking for, is little base hits, you know, reactions is all we're looking for. Let's go to the bigger time frame. These are the only time frames that I typically trade, or sorry, look for. I look for all of my support and resistance on either the daily, the 4 hour, and the 1 hour. Anything more than that, I just find your chart really gets, even the 15 minute, like I'll intraday, I'll mark them out as I'm trading. Just like for today's intraday trading, I put the resistance just for, you know, to keep in mind that that's like gonna be my kind of safety net. Like we shouldn't, if we get a 15-minute candle closed above an intraday resistance, then that's gonna maybe encourage me to either downsize or just fully get out of the trade altogether, cut my losses, right? So now that we're on the 4 hour, get some water here. Now that we're on the 4 hour, let's just clean this up. Let's just get rid of all these yellow lines. Because I feel like, actually here, you know what? Oh yeah, I'll just get rid of all these yellow lines. I'll leave that one. All right, now that we're on the 4 hour, what stands out to me as support and resistance? Like, obviously, you're going to be looking at highs and lows, okay? So, and especially equal highs and lows. So, these are equal highs, so there's resistance there, right? We came up, these equal highs, and then once we broke it, we didn't break it for very long, but, didn't really do much except for when we came under and then we retested it. That was a nice short and it happened to be right at the downtrend. So that was kind of nice. So there's resistance. Like now it will be resistance because we're underneath it, right? But where is support? Like where's our next line of support? Well, we want to look to see where old resistance was because if we're looking for support, we need to look for old resistance. So where did price struggle to continue higher? Honestly, on the 4 hour time frame, there's not much here because we it, it, when we were coming up, there was no pullback. There was nowhere it like struggled. It just kept grinding up. Like the first point of resistance is all the way up here. So up here was the first point of resistance. So really, we have to look back further. So the first point, well, this is obvious support just because this is where we bounced, right? So honestly, that's the next point of support is right there. We have a lot of room to the downside, a lot of room to the downside. And if we go back, you can see we struggled right here. So this is why I had, and not only did when we came up, we struggled here, but when we broke it with such nice force. Like look at the size of this candle. So these are the areas that I like to mark out. We came up when we struggled. So the first time, look at what happened to the first time we came back to it. Boom, right? We didn't even touch it here and we shot back up. Look at that move. One, two, three massive green candles on the 4 hour time frame after coming back to this area where we struggled here. So do you guys see how I get the support and resistance? I'm just looking. If you're looking for support, you need to find the where it struggled to go up below us. Like so we're at this time we're right here. Okay, this is our price. This is the price of the market right now. So if we're looking to see where it's going to bounce, we need to find where it struggled to go higher. So it struggled to go higher here. It struggled to go. This is pretty too far back, but it struggled to go higher at the top of this candle, right? These are old resistance, old resistance. So when we come back to it, it should hold up as support. It's pretty basic, pretty basic. So if we start ripping to the upside, There's on this time frame we don't have any resistance here because there's nowhere we struggle to go lower, right? We came down, well, I guess right here. Right here is where we bounced. So our old support, we came down, we bounced, that's what formed this green candle. So this is our support, right? This is our support line. We came down, bounced off the support, found our support, and then we broke through it, and now it's resistance. So this is our resistance, this is our support on the larger time frame. And then if you want to get more support and resistance, you just got to zoom in. You got to zoom into a smaller time frame. And that, like the 15-minute is, so maybe this makes more sense now that we go back to the 15-minute time frame. So now that we got the sell off, I'm not looking for shorts down here. If we start selling, if we start getting bought up, we found the bottom. Like, it's pretty obvious that we found the bottom here, and we want it, but we missed the train. So I don't want to, like, it's pretty obvious the market is heavy right now. So everybody is looking for selling pressure. So where is this first line of selling pressure? It's right here. It's right here. That's the old support. Now it's going to be, if we ever do get back up to this area, we're going to get a reaction. All right. I hope that really makes you guys think about support and resistance in a little bit of a different way. It's just finding where we struggled in the past. Look to the left. Where did we struggle? If we're on our way up and we want to look for resistance, we want to find where we struggled to go lower, right? And then it got broke. That's gonna, when we first come back up. And I feel like I sound like a broken record, but it's because it's very simple. It's very, very simple. Once you break the support or resistance, in this case support, you come back up to it, it's resistance. It's very, very that simple. Just look for where we're struggling. Look for where we couldn't continue higher or lower, right? So I'm not looking for anything right now as for trades, because I am a dip buyer or a retest seller. So I already took this retest area. Like I said, I missed one trade. I took a second one. I'm not up massive on the day, but I am green on the day, so I'm very thankful for that. But we already retested this area. So the next time, I know we didn't touch it perfectly, and I do expect us to come up and touch this and get some sort of reaction, but the chances are, it's just we already tested this zone essentially, right? Even though it wasn't a perfect touch and we were pretty decently far away from it, but realistically, I was looking at this whole range, that 100-point gap as a selling zone, and we retested it and we did get the sell off. So now, and like I said, just like any type of support or resistance, it's going to be a very high win rate the first time, but the next time we retest this zone, it's not going to be as probable. So you always got to keep that in mind. You always want to be first. And if you don't get it the first time, then maybe just wait until the next first time. There's no rush, right? It's better to win slower than lose fast, is the saying, right? So anyways, guys, I hope that helps. I will, what is tomorrow? I'll be on tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock for a quick pre-market, see what overnight does, see if there's any new support and resistance areas that I'll be looking to trade off of, like this one we had today, right? Just like this one today. So I'll hop on tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock for everybody that wants to join, and then I'll be logging off in order to go over to Savvy Traders at about 9:25, and then I'll be there for at least half the day, right? We usually on there until about 11 or 12, depending on what kind of day it is, right? Like today was a nice by I was done by 10:45, so that's kind of nice, right? So, and then you can go about your day. Anyways, guys, yeah, it looks like we want up. Honestly, right now, this is kind of like I'll get into like the H patterns and stuff on another day. But right now we failed to continue lower, so I could definitely see us getting up to here if we do happen to break this and get like we could start running. We really could start running. The markets are very strong. They are very strong. It's undeniable. So yeah, anyways, be patient. Hope everybody's green today, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care, guys.